Hello people of Earth and outer space, how are you all doing? My dog is being annoying as heck, but please just ignore her. So today's video is going to be like a story time, and it's not going to be like, you know, one of them clickbait titles where the story is literally irrelevant to what it says on the thumbnail or in the title. This animal featured in the story literally nearly did die. Now, if you see an animal on a website, like, this is just a disclaimer, if you see an animal on a website that looks like it's being mistreated, please don't immediately be like, I need to buy this animal, I need to go and get this animal. The only reason when we saw this animal that we were like, right, we need this, or right, we should get this, is because first of all we had the ways and means to look after this animal, and second of all I've been researching like bearded dragons for over 5 years, ever since there was one brought into my school in year 7. I was just like, I need this animal, and I've just been researching and etc over the past 5 years, and I was ready for him. I knew what he needed, etc, so we got him. But yeah, if you see an animal that looks like it's being mistreated, just report the page, report the seller, or if it's in a store, report the store, or, you know, just don't impulse buy, because that's not good. So the way I found Trix was on Gumtree. Now Gumtree is like, for all you people out in the US, I'm very jealous of you because I'd like to be in the US right now. Gumtree is like Craigslist, where you can buy and sell like old items, pets, bikes, clothes, furniture, whatever. And I always look for animals on Gumtree and stuff like that in case there's any like blue-eyed leucistic bull pythons for sale, because I need them. I need one of them in my life. But yeah, and I came across Trix and I was like, okay, let's have a look at him. He's literally like an hour away from me, and this man was selling him for £60, including 4-foot viv, the dragon himself, and like substrates, lighting, everything, blah blah. Considering a setup for a bearded dragon usually costs about £300 alone, I thought, I can't like miss out on this like bargain. I need to, like, you know, get on this, and you know, but the first thing I noticed was the substrate in his enclosure, and I was just like, oh, right. So in this bearded dragon's enclosure, well, Trix's enclosure, he was being kept on wood shavings. Like, oh, why would you keep a bearded dragon on wood shavings? Like, wood shavings are for guinea pigs, rabbits, hamsters, whatever, but a bearded dragon, like, why? Not only will it cause respiratory problems if it's ingested, like the dust from it is ingested, if he accidentally swallows some of it or eats some of it along with his food, that can cause a lot of compaction and cause him to be a little backed up, if you know what I mean. But it said in the ad it came with all like his water bowl, his like bulb or whatever, and we were just like, right, okay, fair enough, we could change the substrate, it's not a big deal. Oh, how little did we know. When my boyfriend went to get Trix, he was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to get him, blah blah blah. We were both like really excited. When he got him home, that's when everything just went downhill, and I was like, oh, for God's sake, why do people have like animals? Like, why are people allowing animals? So first thing I noticed, other than the obvious substrate issue, was that Trix on arrival appeared to be like dead or dying. He was just in such a horrible state. He looked dehydrated, he looked so underweight, he just looked like he was like just gonna give up on life. So we were like, right, okay, you shouldn't really interfere with animals until like 24 hours after they've gone home. You need to give them like a few days to settle in, you know. But Trix looked really in a bad way, so we were like, right, let's see if he'll eat. I said to my boyfriend, what kind of live prey has he been fed? And he said, you'll never guess what. And I was like, what? Like, expected it to be something bad, like tiny crickets or really tiny mealworms that aren't substantial at all for a bearded dragon. He pulls out a bag of dried mealworms that you'd give to birds. Like, there were birds on the front of the packet. Like, I was like, you're kidding me, aren't you? Like, oh. So I was like, right, whatever, okay. I looked to see if he had any fruit or veg in there with him. He had a bowl full of dried up lettuce covered in calcium powder. That's not appetizing to like any bearded dragon, like, you know, like with a load of calcium powder, dried up lettuce. That's literally not like, that's not good for them. That's not good for them at all. Like, and it gets worse from here, ladies and gents. After I discovered he was being fed dried mealworms and dried up lettuce covered in calcium powder, I noticed that his enclosure smelt a little bit, and when I say smell, you know what I mean. So we were digging around, like trying to like clean up, because we also saw a load of Morio worm beetles just running around, because apparently one of the bloke's friends the bloke who sold us Trix, one of his friends had told him that bearded dragons like Morio worm beetles. So yeah, there was loads of them running around, so we were trying to get them, digging through the like wood shavings to try and get them out, and we discovered a heat mat. Yeah, if you know anything about bearded dragons, you know that a heat mat is like the last thing they need in their enclosure. It's just gonna like bearded dragons can't really feel heat from their bellies. If Trix was to dig down in those wood shavings and lie on the heat mat and it was to overheat, he would literally die and he wouldn't even know it. He'd be burning himself and he wouldn't even be aware of it. Not only was like the heat mat there, that wasn't the only problem, it was covered in poo, like literally covered in it, and it was just horrible. And you could tell that he hadn't fully cleaned out his enclosure in like ages. Now, when we were looking around the enclosure, I could see that he had a bulb in there. And it wasn't a basking light, it was a normal house bulb. And this is because the bloke said, and I quote, "They're cheaper at Asda." Now, if you don't know what Asda is like the UK version of Walmart. It's like just a big supermarket, like you can get a load of stuff from there. But yeah, so he used a supermarket light bulb as his bearded dragon's basking light. Why? And I was just like, wow, this just keeps getting worse and worse. Oh, but there was more to come, ladies and gentlemen, there was more to come. He had a UVB bulb in there, great. He's actually got something that he needs, like fantastic. That UVB bulb, according to the man that we got Trix off, hadn't been working for, I think it was 6 months. Bearing in mind that UVB bulbs, the light can work for ages and ages, but they stop emitting the actual UVB waves after about 6 months, maybe 9 months, depending on what bulb you've got. So we don't know how long Trix had been without UVB, because the bloke had obviously waited until the actual light had gone for him to be like, right, I need to replace this. So we had to go and get him a UVB bulb, some Repsy carpet, because we weren't keeping him on wood shavings. We had to get him like some like a new bowl, like a little water bowl, because his water bowl, not only was it bloody huge, it was filthy. So we cleaned it out. We used that as his little like somewhere to go and like sit in and bathe, blah blah blah, and then we just got him a separate water bowl to drink out of. We got him his basking light, UVB bulb, etc, etc. Got him some Morio worms, some crickets, some dubias, and he ate the Morio worms and he loved them. Only thing with the enclosure that I had a problem with is like it's 4 foot, like you can see it's right here. I don't know if you can actually see it, but it's right here. It's 4 foot, great, perfect size for a bearded dragon, fantastic. But it's so high that I'd be surprised if Trix even like gets any UVB from his bulb. And the substantial amount of heat from his basking light. So we're eventually going to get him, we are going to get him a smaller 4 foot viv. It's still going to be 4 foot, so he has plenty of room to run around and exercise, but it's going to be a bit smaller just so he has more chance to like get all that UVB and get that light from his basking spot, so he can really fulfill his life and really like get all the enrichment he needs from like his lights in his enclosure. I've noticed that Trix has definitely improved since we got him. He's definitely perked up, although he's still not like a normal bearded dragon. Like he's still a bit skinny, like his bones definitely protrude. Is that the word? That sounds weird now. When I say it sounds weird. Protrude. So Trix has obviously been deprived of UVB, hence why his bones look the way they do, and he's probably got a touch of MBD. We also think he's got some respiratory problems because like recently he's improved, he's been so much better, but over the past few months since we got him, he's been doing like this action as if he's coughing, and that's caused a lot by respiratory problems, and we think that could be down to like him inhaling so much dust from the wood shavings. What else was there? He also had a bit of like an eye infection in both his eyes, so we have to keep like bathing them, like we dip our finger or our thumb in like warm water and just rub over it gently. He doesn't really like it, but we have to do it. He's also like been suffering with like these random fits. Like he had them ages ago, like he's not had them for a while now, but he's been having little fits. He's had this thing where like his head will just like vibrate, and that's down to like a calcium deficiency. So we've been dipping his live prey in calcium powder, and although he doesn't eat as ferociously as a normal bearded dragon would, he's still eating, he's improving. He very rarely eats his fruit and veg, but he does touch it every now and again. But we're trying to like get him onto more of a fruit and veg based diet, as adult bearded dragons, their diet should the majority of an adult bearded dragon's diet should be fruit and veg, and then a few like mealworms or roaches or whatever every now and then. Oh, speaking of roaches, the man didn't even know what a dubia roach was. Like, how can you own a reptile or whatever and not know what a dubia roach is? I'm going to get Trix out now and just show him to you. He's currently asleep, so he's probably going to be really annoyed at me, but, you know. So this is Trix. Trix is obviously a normal morph of bearded dragon. You can see he's quite underweight. I don't know how well you can see him, to be fair. You can see that he's quite underweight. He's, like, not the healthiest looking bearded dragon. You can see how much his bones are protruding here. But, yeah. He's obviously, like, he's way more, like, alert than he used to be. Like, he's so much more, like, he's definitely gained some weight, believe it or not. He's definitely way more active. He eats more. He's more hydrated. He's stopped, like, his head stopped doing that vibrating thing. He stopped, like, doing that coughing thing, and he's just so much better than he used to be. He's still got a long way to go, definitely, but I'm just so happy that he's improved. Just realised I forgot to film an outro, but I didn't want to sit down, so bye. Enter a new day, feel the motion.